I like that I'm able to get on the same page as him and understand what his version of quote unquote success is for me and him being together and building this life together.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping product-based business owners turn into revenue-generating, successful, happy product bosses. I'm Jacqueline Snyder.
And I'm Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Together through digital courses, coaching, and masterminds, we've helped over 50,000 students from startup to multi-million-dollar businesses scale their sales while blending in their dream life.
It gets lonely out there in the product business world. We fully believe a business shouldn't be built alone. There's room at the top for all of us.
So let's get scrappy and creative together, Product Boss, to be profitable, make more sales, and grow your visibility.
Are you ready? Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited. Do you want to know why? Because this September, HubSpot is having its annual Inbound conference. You know that we are so proud to be part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. This September 5th through the 8th, HubSpot is hosting its annual Inbound conference in Boston. They're bringing together so many amazing leaders across business. I'm talking sales, marketing, customer success, operations, and more. It sounds like such a great time because it will be. You're going to be wowed by the speakers. There's going to be dozens of them, but there's also going to be speakers like Reese Witherspoon and Derek Jeter. I mean, talk about wow, right? This conference is the place to be for business leaders who want to learn about the best sales strategies, marketing tactics, and strategies for growth. If you want to know how to scale your business in a sustainable way, Inbound is the place to be this September. So I love that it's both entertaining and educational. So you can have fun, but also walk away feeling like you've learned something. Plus, it's a great way in time to connect with other business leaders, business owners, and network and make some friends as well. So 100% these tickets are going to sell out crazy fast. So visit inbound.com to get your ticket today.
Hey, friends. Welcome back to another episode. So today is going to be a fun one because we are doing some, and you're going to hear some of these throughout the summer, is Ask Us Anythings, right? So we get messages all the time in our Facebook community, on social media, on Instagram, that's just like, how this, how that. And so one of the things that we got and we wanted to talk about today was, what's it like being the breadwinner of your family?
I would say it's pretty nice.
Because we're both the breadwinners in our families, right?
Yeah. I mean, so I guess the downside for people might be that the pressure, or what do you see as the con here?
This is how we're the exact opposite when it comes to money. The pressure. Like, do people even have pressure around money? That's weird.
I know. I'm trying to be like, it's nice. I like it. Next question.
And I'm like, what's keeping me up at night? How are we going to pay the bills? No. Okay, so let's just go. Okay, one, our husbands are incredible. Both of our husbands are very smart, very successful in their careers. Mina's husband is a pharmacist who is now transitioned to being a full-time product boss after being—
He's still a licensed pharmacist, though, so he could go back at any time. He keeps up with his continued education, and he was the breadwinner. Yeah, he was a frontline worker. During 2020, I was a teacher at that time, too, AKA teacher. I was not. It was that my kids were home, and it was very hard. Parents at home while the teachers actually taught. So I'm not going to take that away from them because that was very difficult. And then my husband is working now full-time in low labels, but he's still a licensed pharmacist. But he was the breadwinner for pretty much our entire marriage until the product boss came along.
Yeah. So we'll just call him Doctor.
Yeah.
And then my husband plays a doctor on TV.
Yep.
So my husband's an actor. Famous Broadway actor, as well as TV and film actor. He actually literally just got done with an NCIS episode. It did air in May where he played a doctor on TV.
Oh gosh, I have to go on Hulu and look for him.
Yeah. So I think it came out May 8th. So NCIS.
May 8th? It's not May 8th yet.
In the time that this is airing, it is.
Okay, go on. I was like, I can go
Have you
watch.
learned nothing in all the years of podcasting?
Okay. So go watch, everybody. It's on NCIS.
Yeah,
And
catch a recording. He plays
yeah.
the doctor. So,
Mhm.
so both of our husbands are extremely successful. Now, I think with the product boss doing really well, Mina and I, the levels in which this business has grown have really created this thing that's like there's no cap. There's no like, oh, you make X amount as a pharmacist and that's kind of all you make, right?
Mhm.
There's no cap to the salary because we're entrepreneurs and all of you that own your
But
own
no cap to
businesses.
the impact either. I think that him as a
Right.
pharmacist, even as a frontline worker, his impact was local, to his clients and customers. Like he still talks about his pharmacy clients. It was difficult for him, of course, because it's like he sees them pass away or whatever else. But I do think that our impact is global, and you can even see the variance of that too.
Yeah. But I'm trying, I think the idea here though is that we didn't mean to become the breadwinners, but the amount of the growth in which this business has grown, we
Hmm.
became the breadwinners, but we also changed our lives generationally, right? Like we've
Yeah.
created lives that we couldn't even imagine. So the question is what's it like being the breadwinner? And I think we both have very different perspectives to this because we have very
Hmm.
different relationships. So my husband is it's like feast or famine as an actor. You're either working or you're not, right? You're either trying to get the job or you've got the
Hmm.
job. So there's like, you've got the job and it's great, or you don't have the job and you're trying to get the next job. So that's sort of always been our relationship since we met. So, and I've always had consistent as an entrepreneur through both of my businesses has been, well, what's the base that I need to make so that it's safe, so that if James works, great, excess, we've got money, we could save now. Or if he doesn't, okay, this is just how do we pay our bills? How do we keep our kids in school? Like, how do we keep doing stuff?
And
Right.
you
So,
made your money through client work,
right.
right?
Through
Hmm.
Designer Consulting Co op, my other business that I've had since 2007. So that's sort of been, I've considered myself the breadwinner, but we've gotten into like some spats because he's like, I make X a year. And
Hmm.
because he is like you, he doesn't have the concern over money the way I would. And this comes from trauma of childhood. And so I'd always be like, but I have to keep doing it because if you don't work, I have to keep doing it. So there's been a stressor there of me feeling the stress of being a breadwinner. I've
Hmm.
worked on it a lot, like mindset and life coach and all that. So now it feels easier, even though he's not currently working. But it took a really long time because it was somewhat of like a pissing match. It felt like a little.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen it that way because I always didn't have money. So for me, it was like when I was in college, I would have to sell blood. I would sell CDs. Like I would have my financial aid, but only got me so far. I would, have jobs and stuff like that, but it never felt like enough. And so while I was stressed about money, it was like I've never had any money. And so when I married my husband, he had his pharmacy degree, and I was doing graphic design, and it was client work as well. But it was for big businesses like a bank and a car dealership and things like that, and agencies. I would do overflow work, and so I always knew I would make a certain amount of money, anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000. So I would fill up my time because this is time for time, where I'm going in and working a certain amount of time, and I would make. I always knew, okay, I don't want to be making. I don't want to be working 40 hours, but I want to be working 30. And if I can make, anywhere from 40 to 60,000, that was my contribution to the household. So it wasn't that I wasn't contributing. It was that he was making a lot more because he worked full time as a retail pharmacist. And so during that time, though, that gave me the room to be a creative. Like he always refers to me as the creative of our relationship. And for me, that always felt like I had the ability and the potential to make money. And also, I always had the intention of becoming the breadwinner. So while you said
You
that
did?
you didn't, yeah, of course. My whole idea of starting the product business, Low Labels, was to retire him. I didn't know that he would eventually, and that was for him too. We always knew that we were going to be financially free. That meant not working for other people. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know that that would mean me leaving, my graphic design or client work. But I knew it was going to be something else. And so that's what ended up happening. It took 7 years, but we are in the same place. And it actually took the product boss versus Little Labels. Now, if I had spent that time focusing on Little Labels, potentially that would have been the way instead, right? That I would have been the breadwinner.
It would have been.
Yeah. And then he would have eventually been able to retire. It just took us longer because the product boss has taken over our lives in a lot of ways, yours and mine, but I always knew that we were not going to be, I never wanted to work for anybody else. That's why I became an entrepreneur. Was by default, I became an entrepreneur, had to figure out how to make money because I've always had to make my own money. I forged signatures, for my parents to even get financial aid, So I always knew, like, when I graduated, how am I going to pay back these loans, all that sort of thing. And so being the breadwinner to me feels like very natural in a way that it did happen, but my husband works for Little Labels, which is our business together, but I created that. I made it initially what it was. And being the breadwinner just feels like a byproduct of that, I guess,
Yeah.
Hey friends, it's podcast recommendation time. This month, we've been loving the Duct Tape Marketing Podcast hosted by marketing expert John Jantz. He is such a genius when it comes to marketing. If you haven't listened to his podcast yet, he shares many insightful marketing tips, strategies, and resources for small business owners and marketers like you. It'll help keep your business growing. I like that he does it in a way that's both easy to understand and entertaining. He recently did an episode about AI tools, which we are obsessed, and you can use it as sort of research assistants to enhance what you're already doing, coming up with ideas and creating powerful marketing strategies, which we all know we could use more ease in our lives, right? It's a really interesting episode. He definitely knows how to open your mind up to new ways of doing things involving marketing and business strategies. Definitely give it a listen. Listen to Duct Tape Marketing wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Product Boss. Okay, this is for you. The other day, we got a message from Lolly asking us if we had a referral for a great inventory management software to help track raw goods and on-hand products that were ready to sell. And you know what we told Lolly? We sure do. Not only do we have a resource for inventory management software, but we have over 308 other business tools and resources that will help you effectively run your product-based business. Now, this ranges from packaging and printing supplies, affiliate management, website and email software, legal resources, video and photo tools, and so much more. You will have everything you need to grow your dream product business today and at no cost to you. Yep, this is totally free, and you can download the Product Boss Ultimate Resource Guide right now by heading to theproductboss.com/resource guide. Again, that's theproductboss.com/resource guide. Now, back to the show.
I'm Nicole, and my business is Boozoo Baby Handmade Creations. I make functional and fashionable clothing and accessories for kids and adults. My bestseller is my t-shirt dresses that I have been making since 2020. And since joining Multi-Stream Machine, I think for me, I found Jacqueline and Nina through a free workshop probably back in 2021. And I participated in a few free ones since then. Started listening to their podcast, binged the entire series, and joined Multi-Stream Machine in fall of 2022 because my business kind of ran into a few hiccups after the pandemic and, things ebbed and flowed. And really, for me, what Multi-Stream Machine has given me is the confidence to know what I need to do for my business to be successful and actionable steps that I can take to reach my goals.
And I don't think I ever said in my head, I want to be the breadwinner. What I did say is I wanted to be financially independent. I never, me growing up, and this is different than you, I never wanted to rely on a man for money. So so I guess I was saying I wanted to be the breadwinner, but I didn't know that it was in partnership. So I just knew the way when I grew up, my mom couldn't leave my dad. She had 5 kids in an abusive relationship, and she couldn't leave because she had 5 kids. And she's like, I have 5 kids. I have no way to make money for you guys and take care of you. So she stayed in this 30 years too long. And I just grew up thinking, there's no way ever I'm ever going to be stuck in something like this. I will always have my own money. So I think that independence is what drove me into wanting to go to college, because you and I are both the first to go to college in our families, to make my own money, to be successful. I don't know that I thought I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I think it was always destined. And then I guess for me, maybe the whole, what I was saying earlier with us is that I had never had it modeled of what it would look like in partnership. So me being the breadwinner, or not wanting to rely on him for money, almost created this probably tension versus what could this look like as partnership, and also know that I can make money from nothing, know that I can create businesses. So for all of you listening, you've already created one business. You can always come out with another business if one doesn't work, and do it again and do it again. Because the special tool that we have, especially Mina and I, is that we've created multiple businesses and made money every single time. So I think let's transition to what's it like being the breadwinner in our family, right? Because even where we are now, we have multi-million-dollar business. We both have 2 businesses each. Our husbands are kind of thriving and doing what they want to do. They're both living out their dreams. Like your husband doesn't have to go to a pharmacy anymore. Yeah. My husband can lean into his art and take the jobs, but not have to go become a waiter to be able to pay for our family. So it actually has given us opportunities that we wouldn't have necessarily had before.
Yeah. I think for me, as long as I know, it feels good to be the breadwinner. But I think that the part that it feels like a little bit like hiccups come up is when I lose sight of what his version of not being the breadwinner looks like too. So, for example, I always like to know we're on the same page. For him, that security and responsibility, he's a firstborn Asian male. He has a doctorate degree. He was born in a refugee camp. So him letting that go feels in a way like what we're not supposed to be doing. So for him, he needs and wants that security. So as long as I can pay for our retirement funds, the kids, what is that called? 529s or whatever. As well as like our financial, wealth generationally, all these different things that he needed me to do in order to feel safe, that kind of made me become the breadwinner. So he was not going to leave his retail pharmacy job until that was the bare minimum of what I could do on a consistent basis. And I was just like, okay, it wasn't like that was the thing that was motivating me either. It was just like, okay, the timeline is the timeline, whatever. But I get it. I get it that we need that, and that we need retirement, and we need, investment money, and we need.
I'm just laughing because we're married to exact opposite humans.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once I did that and he sees it on a consistent basis, then I'm like, oh, okay. And then for him, then he can go fishing as he wants or buy what he wants or whatever. But he's working too. He works at low labels. He just gets to work from home. So being the breadwinner for me feels like something that feels like just checking the boxes in a way. Like, okay, I am the breadwinner. I don't know if I describe myself that way, to be honest. Like, I think that's like the word that you said, where it's like, I don't know if it was a breadwinner, but I knew that I would be working for myself. And I don't even know if entrepreneur is what I thought it was like. It was just like, I'm working at home by myself, And so I think that that's where I see it, is that I like that I'm able to get on the same page as him and understand what his version of quote unquote success is for me and him being together and building this life together. So it's like that life of being financially free, of having still investment money, of having still our kids being able to go to college if they want to, and also being able to not worry. For me, being the breadwinner feels great because I could never budget. That was like, even when I'm telling you stories of I never had money, well, I never learned to budget. I never even understood how to save my money, which is why I would end up having to give a plasma for $30 and sell CDs for $20 or whatever, sell back my books, whenever I was like really in a pinch, So I think that now I never learned that skill set. So it's kind of working to my advantage now. I'm a breadwinner because I'm good at making money and I don't like to budget.
We have conversations with our CFO and they're always like, well, you can cut back. And we're like, no, we'll go make more money.
No, I'm not good at cutting back, it feels
not
like.
Sure what that means. I mean, to each their own. But yeah. And so I think for me being the breadwinner is that I actually do think, and it was very stressful. So as younger people and my expectation on my husband, because kind of maybe flipped a little, I loved having a career. I loved working, and he was the artist, right? The artiste, as you say.
But did he have like part-time jobs? Because like I would work as like a cashier or, at Famous Bar. I don't know if you had that out there, but it's like Yonkers. I would do it for 2 jobs. Like I had my full-time job and I work at night. And then when I wasn't doing that, I had to go to school at night to get my MBA.
He's never needed to work to pay bills because fortunately
he was never that waiter that was an actor.
He was a bartender when I met him when we were like 23, 24.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think that it was like a morning bartending job at the farmer's market where you and I went. And I don't think it was to pay rent, if that makes sense. Like,
okay.
I don't know that.
So he wasn't like, he needs to have that job.
He didn't need it.
Yeah.
He worked, but he didn't ever need it. He didn't ever feel like I need to do this to pay the bills. And that's honestly something that was one of our biggest fights because it was kind of like, because the thing is like how he was raised was that his parents were like, nothing is going to stand in your way. We're going to support you and getting you to being of excellence as an actor, which he did. I mean, starring on Broadway, very few people become stars, right, on Broadway. So he really was in pursuit of that. And what I talked to my therapist about a lot of times was that I never had the safety net.
Yeah.
I had nobody to catch me, so I had to keep going. He has a safety net of his family, and so he could do what he needed to do when he needed to do it. Now, having 2 people married with very different perspectives of money and safety was a bit of a conflict. And I was not making enough money to reach my dreams, even though I helped, I've been the one that's financed actually both of our houses that we've bought. Like I'm the one on the loan. Which I'm really proud of, right? They're like, it's not my husband. When we refinance, they're like, can we talk to your husband? I was like, nope, you could talk to me, So I think things like that are cool. But now that, we've been together for 19 years. We've worked a lot. We talked about this a little bit on our partnership episode. Now that this is like, this business is beautiful and it's, not as stressful because you and I have grown this into something that doesn't keep us up at night. Like we save our money for taxes. Like we make the money we need to make. We hire.
Now we know what we didn't know.
Yeah. We've been in business. You and I have also been in business probably for like 19 years. So we've grown up as business owners and we've grown up in relationship with our spouses. And now it feels really good because now I'm like that pressure for me. And this is how we started this episode. We were like, what? There's nothing that keeps me up about being the breadwinner. So
feels nice. Thanks for asking.
Lovely. So I think for me, the last 2 decades, I was really stressed and I wish I did have a different perspective to it, but that was all coming from my own scarcity and my own trauma. They say what's historical is hysterical. And it might have been easier had I had worked on mindset, but we all go on our own journeys. So now being the breadwinner doesn't feel as much pressure to me because what's beautiful about this is he supports me and you. He gets all of our emails. Yesterday we talked about this as a team and like, wait, he signed up to our email list. I was like, he reads them.
Poor James getting all of our emails with the rest of you.
It's like, that was a good subject line. But then I'm able to support his dream because I think one of the things is like we're both supporting each other and fulfilling our destinies. And his will pay off when it does, but he has a different kind of destiny in his art. And he's a fantastic father, which I didn't have. So watching him raise our kids and be with our kids. And this was my destiny to be a business owner, to make my own money, to be independent in the world, to dream as big as I want and to like pursue it and have fun while doing it with you. So I think now it feels less pressure. Sometimes when things feel hard, it would be nice to have had extra help, but then you have to weigh out all the things that we wouldn't have. My kids wouldn't have their dad around a lot, right? Like someone else would have to pick them up from school. I have to tell my kids all the time, like, parents go to work. Like, you guys are really lucky that we're here.
Yeah.
So, So I think now for me, and so anyone that is thinking about being the breadwinner, I know this is like really candid. A lot of it's like our own mindset, right? It's how you operate. It's not necessarily the other person.
And what you feel responsible to. Like I do, that does keep me up at night, is more so I feel things are like looming that I need to do in the product boss. And, it's like I'm responsible to that, but he also was responsible in the pharmacy for counting pills and being super accurate and all those sort of things. So I think that it feels better now. But being the breadwinner is like, you're going to have to work in this world. And we get to do what we want to do in a lot of different ways. There's going to be a mix of good times and bad times. But you're right that you are supporting what he does, and he gets to live that life and continue it.
And he's supporting what I do.
Yeah, and he's supporting what you do, and same with me, right? Like, my husband actually feels the ability to be financially free, and his version of dream life isn't like acting like James is. His is like to go fishing whenever he wants to, or do family things or vacation, but at the same time build up our retirement and things that feel like very safe in that, So I think that that's his version of dream life, And so I think that's the thing that we're taking into account here. And I think the best advice that we can give it to you is that, what is it like being the breadwinner? It's great. And the best advice that we can give you is to take into account every single one of your partners in this life, whether it be a business partner or a spouse, what their version of the dream life is too.
Yeah. I think the conversations and check-ins to make sure that it's not a power dynamic, right? It's not about having some sort of power dynamic with each other. It's the idea of like this, James and I and you and Bacon are still in partnership with each other. So it's how do we just operate in life in partnership? And it's not one versus the other. It's not power versus not having power. It's
not forcing them to call you the breadwinner, maybe.
Or what about Captain?
Captain.
I Captain.
Or boss.
You just call me boss. No, but and I think that's the thing, like continuously and then saying, what does your dream life look like? What are we all living this life for together?
And we're a
partnership.
Team.
Yeah. We're a team. Mina and I are a team. With our spouses, we're a team. We're in partnership to live this life to its fullest. Our contributions being breadwinners is yielding that. Look at Sarah Blakely. Her husband's running marathons all over the place, right?
Yeah. But he also does coaching of his own too.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying that like he, for a long time, like he found his own passion, and how do we build a life together? And this life has to be funded by somewhere or something or someone. But how do we do it, right? So this has been a fun episode. Keep asking us questions over on the gram, as kids call it.
Do it for the gram. Ask us questions.
And make sure to follow the show if you haven't already. They used to call it subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a positive review for the podcast. It helps us with our show and also reaching more people in more places.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.